y'all, it's Miss Burke. We are going to start our videos with a Monday lesson. We're on page 267 and 268 in your math book. I will send pictures in our GroupMe so that you can see these pages in your book, and I'm also going to go over them here in this short little video. So, we are going to talk about temperature. A thermometer is an instrument used to measure temperature, how cold or hot a substance is. This little circle is the symbol to write degrees, the unit that measures temperature. Celsius and Fahrenheit are two temperature scales. Fahrenheit is most often used in the United States, although Celsius, which is the metric scale, is usually used in the scientific field. For every 100 degrees Celsius increases, there is a 100 degrees Fahrenheit increase. Therefore, 1 degree Celsius measures a greater change in temperature than 1 degree Fahrenheit. Learn these reference points on both scales. So the freezing point of water, Fahrenheit, which is what we use, is 32 degrees, and in Celsius, that's 0 degrees. The boiling point of water is 212 degrees Fahrenheit, or 100 degrees Celsius. And our normal body temperature is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, or 37 degrees Celsius. So they give you a formula to convert or change it from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit equals 9/5 Celsius plus 32. Now if you'll remember, when they're side by side like that, that means multiply. Remember, a letter and a number, I just told you that. I should have read ahead. Order of operations tells us to multiply before adding. So if you remember your order of operations that Miss Claire taught you, PEMDAS, it's parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide, add and subtract. So we're going to multiply first. All right, then they give you some examples right here, but we're not going to go over those right now. All right, on class practice number 1, you're just going to use the information up there in the yellow box to fill out the blanks. All right, then number 2, round these degrees to the nearest whole degree. The first one is done for you. So they gave us 37.2 degrees Fahrenheit. So we remember if it's 0 to 4, we leave it. If it's 5 to 9, we round up. So we have 0.2. So that's going to stay 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Now don't forget your little degree symbol in Fahrenheit. All right, B, 12.9 degrees Celsius. The 0.9 makes it round up to 13 degrees Celsius. C, 29 3/5. Now that's not a decimal, but if we turned it into a decimal, it would be 0.6. So we would have 29.6 degrees Celsius, which makes it round up to 30 degrees Celsius. Now you just have 6 more to do by yourself. If I were you, I would look at the picture that I send on GroupMe and go ahead and kind of copy this page down on a sheet of notebook paper for yourself, and then you can just fill it out. So I would just take a piece of notebook paper and go ahead and write out number 1 and number 2, and then go back and fill in the answers. All right, now we're flipping over to the back side. Page 268. This is where we start to convert. Convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit using the formula. So I'm going to go to my sheet of notebook paper now. So our formula from the yellow box was Fahrenheit equals 9/5 C, which is Celsius, plus 32. So on A, let me see if I can do this. They give us 20 degrees Celsius. And they want to know what that is in degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? So we have this C right here. We're going to plug it in. So we have 9/5. And remember we said if they're side by side, it means to multiply 20 plus 32. Now, if you'll remember back to our fractions, if we're going to multiply these fractions, this fraction times this, this has to be a fraction as well. Now, we can make any number a fraction by putting a 1 underneath it. So now we have 9/5 times 20 over 1 plus 32. Now, there's two ways to do this, so I'm going to try to do both. All right, the first way is to just multiply straight across. 9 times 20 is 180. 5 times 1 is 5. Now you know that's an improper fraction. So what do we have to do? We divide. 5 will not go into 1, but it'll go into 18 3 times with 3 left over. Bring down my 0. 5 will go into 30 6 times with none left over. So now I simply have 36 plus 32. Now, let me go ahead and get this answer and then I'll show you the other way. So my answer here is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Now the other way you can do it, let me rewrite my problem. 9/5 times 20, and I made it a fraction by putting it over 1, plus 32. And we have to multiply first because of our order of operations. Now, the other way we can do this, I can't simplify 1 and 9, but I can simplify 5 and 20. 5 goes into both of them. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Now, 9 times 4 is, I don't know why I paused. You can't answer me. 9 times 4 is 36. 1 times 1 is 1. And we know that 36 over 1 is the same thing as just 36 plus 32. You can't forget that part. 68. You get the same answer. Either you reduce first or you reduce after you multiply. So either way will work. Now I'm going to work one more. Let me rewrite our formula. Okay, B says 65 degrees Celsius. They're side by side, so that means multiply. I put 65 in where Celsius is. I make it a fraction by putting it over 1. And then I add that 32. So, the easiest way on this one, because I don't know 65 times 9 off the top of my head, is to go ahead and reduce this. 5 goes into 5 one time. 5 goes into 65 13 times. Okay, now I can multiply 13 times 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 2 is 11. So I have 117 over 1, which is just 117 plus this 32. 7 plus 2, 9. 1 plus 3 is 4. 1. So this equals 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, now you have 4 more problems to do on that section, changing them from Celsius to Fahrenheit. And then our last thing we're going to do is number 4, solve for x. Now this goes back to what we learned last 9 weeks, but I'm going to work one with you. A says x plus 7 equals 15. Now if you'll remember, we're trying to get x by itself, so I have to do the opposite. I want to get x by itself, so I take away 7. Now if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. So 7 minus 7 cancels out, and I'm just left with x over here. And 15 minus 7 is 8. So x equals 8. Now, I could check this and plug it back in where x is. So I could say 8 plus 7 equals 15. Now, if that's true, then we did it correctly, and 8 plus 7 is 15. So we got it right. All right, B, 3 over 4 equals x over 21. Now, we cross multiply on these, so 4 times x, 4x, if they're side by side, that means multiply, equals 3 times 21, okay, because we cross multiplied here too. 21 times 3 is 63, so I have 4 times something equals 63. Now, I'm trying to get x by itself, so I do the opposite. The opposite of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. And if I do it on one side, I have to do it on the other side. Oh, hold on. Okay, now these cancel out, so all I'm left with on this side is x. Now, 63 over 4. When we have an improper fraction like that, we divide. So we do 63 on the inside, 4 on the outside. 4 into 6, one time. With 2 left over, bring down your 3. 4 into 23, that'll go in 5 times. And I have a remainder. So if you'll remember, we take that remainder, we put it on top, and we take this number here, and that's our denominator. So our answer is 15 3/4. And then you only have 2 more to do on this one, and then you're done with Monday. Again, like I said, I'm going to send pictures of these pages. If I were you, I'd copy them down first and then work them on my notebook paper. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.